much changing is he's still going to have the same sort of speed that he had earlier on this afternoon. There is Hockley then, the dark blue number 111 car on the Civic. You can see we're on groove tyres anyway. They don't run on slip tyres in this series. See the race car falling there. Empty space alongside him where Tony Hunter should be, and then we do have a complete row 2, which is Jamie Anderson and David Baldwin. Row 3 appears to vanish now as well, though. Where did they go? Because where we should have those cars, hang on. Carnham 95 started with the pit lane, there we go. Someone's paying attention. So, still doesn't entirely explain where the third row has gone, because the third row should be Nick Gwinnett in the number 14 Renault Clio and the 31 Honda Civic and Phil Wright. And there's Hainsford. So Hainsford was due to line up on row 7. And also, yeah, the 95 Peugeot, as Dave just told me, that was Andrew Mitchell. But the third row has vanished since the start of the green flag lap because they were there when they left. So they've got lost somewhere. Anyway, the rest of them are about to go racing because the red lights go out, they're away, and Richard Hockley from pole position gets another decent getaway. So too rapidly away is David Baldwin, and actually he's going to challenge for the lead into Redgate Corner in the blue Clio on the outside line. They turn into the right-hander, a good start as we expect from Robbie Durant in the Subaru as well, with four-wheel drive traction propelling him towards the first corner. Side-by-side for the Class F lead as well there between the Peugeots, and I think that David Mycock has lost out to Paul Rice, but we'll confirm that in a moment or two. It's Hockley, though, that's retained the lead. Second place for Baldwin. Third position, then, is Jamie Anderson, by the looks of it. Fourth place for Durant. So Durant really could be unstoppable here if he gets that Subaru hooked up. Already gained several positions. Granted, a lot of drivers in front of him didn't take the start where they should have done, but nonetheless, he's driven well there for the first sequence of corners. There is Paul Rice, and he is now ahead, I think, of the rest of the Class F runners. Side-by-side action up the hill. Peugeot 106 rally of Andy Neal. That was ducking out of line, trying to find a way past Kelly Brabham, who has gone with Robbie Durant, actually. Those two were 11th and 10th, respectively. And they're now 5th and 4th. So they have, in tandem, sort of picked their way through the order in the early stages. But Hockley getting away here with Baldwin not really able to go with. Not surprising, really, that Baldwin's being a bit tentative here in the early stages, because when it was dry, he suffered from a lack of rear tyre temperature and had a huge slide down the crane curves. Side by side behind, look, grabbing under increased pressure from Andy Neal, who gets to the inside through the chicane, but now we start to see that the grip is not necessarily on the inside line. It's you have to take these karting lines around the outside, particularly through places like Redgate and McLean's and Coppice. That's where you'll find more traction off the more well-used racing line. Side by side still between Brabham and Neal. Neal, again, he's got the inside line, which looks great on the way in, but then the traction that the Sleeker should get on the outside line will propel it ahead through Hollywood. And indeed it did. We've had a change for third too. Robbie Durant has now picked away past the Jamie Anderson Honda Civic, which he actually did just before the start-finish line. So the Subaru is now into podium place. Here come the Class F runners, and what order were they in? Yeah, it was Perry ahead of Mycock, and he's now putting a Mazda MX-5 between the two of them. Oh, in fact, not for long though, because Mycock gets back ahead of him, so the Peugeot has... both Peugeots actually gaining a place. That was Middleton, the number 7 now, X5, Kevin Middleton, that was losing ground there. Here was Clive Hainsford, and he's leading the pit lane starts brigade. The yellow and red RX-8. Interesting choice to start from the pit lane. I think maybe he was doing it to try and stay out of trouble in the early stages, because he very quickly come across the midfield runners anyway, so it's really saved him a huge amount of risky situations. He's picking his way now past Mycock in the second place Peugeot. The next target will be Paul Rice, number 28, no, 26, 42, that was close, 42 for Paul Rice, who is leading Class F. The rest of the Class F runners not far behind. Number 22 is Aaron Budding, who won the GT 150 class in race number 1. Is he winning it again in race number 2? He is not, actually. GT 250 is being led by... Oh no, he is now. He actually just found a way past Middleton, who was leading the class, Kevin Middleton, in the Mark 1 MX-5. The timing screen now updates itself. time between that confused me is telling me the race is finished, and yet also still has 11 minutes remaining. So I think the fact that the cars are still pounding around at high speed tells me the race hasn't finished yet. And the gap, it does tell me, is 2.2 seconds. Hockley getting away from Baldwin now. Durant third, Anderson fourth, Brabin up into fifth. So lots of movers and shakers here at the early stages. But once again, as in race one, it's this Class F battle between the Peugeots that is attracting most of the attention. Perry only 0.3 of a second up at the start of the lap. That's another one of the Class F runners, the 108 car of Charlie Bingham, who was given a 5-second track limits penalty in the previous race. So too was Stephen Oates as well. That dropped him right to the back of the field. Track limits a hot topic here at Donington Park, although perhaps less so in the wet conditions, because running wide onto those curbs and certainly onto the grass is sort of self-penalising really, because there's not much grip out there. So Robbie Durant then, what sort of lap times is he doing? His last one was a 38.1, which was faster than the leader, so he was catching the top two. Is that still the case on this lap though? I think maybe the answer is no, because Richard Hockley does 1:35.8, Baldwin a 35.5, and yeah, Durant the slowest of the three this time, a 36.3. But he is still quicker than Jamie Anderson behind, and indeed Brabin as well in the Celica. The other one on the move, very much so. In fact, the fastest car on the track right now is Clive Hainsford, who's just set the fastest lap last time around, 1:33.093. So the yellow RX-8 is into ninth place already. So it's already got its way almost up to where it finished the previous race. It finished 7th. It was due to therefore start 7th on the grid for this one. So almost back up to where it needs to be, ought to be, within the space of the first 3.5 laps. So how much further up the order can the RX-8 get? That's the question. Might not be able to get onto the overall podium, but Hainsford, who's already guaranteed a class win by being the only entrant in his class, will want to try and get maybe into the overall top 5 if possible. There is a gap, there's a distinct gap between the top 5 and then everybody else. It's about a 4.5 second gap between Brabin and Andy Neal in the Peugeot. There you can see Hainsford in the background, so he's already gapping the cars behind and starting to reel in this group in front. So we'll keep monitoring the lap times then, with 8 3/4 minutes still to go. Headlights on for all cars as well, given the gloominess of the conditions. Not so much so that they can see where they're going, but so that everyone else can see where they are. But now, none of these cars getting particularly close to each other, everyone being reasonably tense with the conditions as they are. So Hockley leads the way by 1.19 this time, so the gap does come down by about 3/4 of a second. That time it was Baldwin who was the quickest of the leading three. So top three now coming by 3.2 seconds, a further 1.6 back to Jamie Anderson, who's in the 35, so he can't keep up with them at the moment. There's Robbie Durant, who done a 34.9 last time around, was slower than Baldwin, but did manage to take about half a second out of the race leader. Subaru completely at odds really with everything else out there. The majority of the field made up of these short wheelbase Japanese or European hot hatchbacks, and then you've got the Subaru, which looks a little bit large and cumbersome compared to some of the other cars out there, but he's doing the job in these conditions. Side-by-side battle there, another place being lost, I'm afraid, for Kevin Middleton. And that was the Peugeot, 95 Peugeot going through. Started from the pit lane, remember, and that was overtake for 16th place overall, and they are running in different classes at the moment. Andrew Mitchell, in fact, won his class, won Class B in the previous race. Probably will do again, actually, because there's no other Class B cars out there. So the Peugeot gaining overall positions, but not class positions. The Class F battle, is that as close as it was in the previous race? Well, it is between... We've had a change of lead, in fact, now, because Mycock's gone back ahead. So we have had a change for the Class F Peugeot lead, if you like, for the 206 GTI Cup. So 96 David Mycock ahead now, Paul Rice, as it was in race 1, but Rice had been ahead for the first half of this one. Right, the lead gap is now down under a second, so David Baldwin has found a bit of speed over the last few laps. He's getting away now from Durant, who was the slowest of the three once again on that occasion, so it's becoming a bit of a two-horse race now between the Honda and the Clio, and it is the second place car, number 50 of Baldwin, that already leads in Class A, and he's now starting to become a bit more of a menacing vision in the mirrors of the race-leading Civic. Richard Hockley Hockley, very experienced Civic racer. In fact, if memory serves, he used to race in the Disc Block Civic Cup in that shape of Honda. I don't know if it's exactly the same car because it's got a new livery now, but the older generation of Honda Civic that Richard Hockley used to favour, he still does now, but races not in a one-make championship, something very different. Still great success. And there is Robbie Durant in third position, but the leaders are almost as one now. Where does the move come from for David Baldwin? It might even happen down the back straight because that Clio's got some legs in a straight line, hasn't it? And he's looking to the inside. He's late on the brakes, and I think he's going to take the lead away here from Richard Hockley. And he does. Well, that was remarkably easy. He caught, he pulled alongside, he overtook, and now can he pull away from Richard Hockley? That will be the plan, no doubt. Across the line they go. And the gap then now, half a second in Baldwin's favour. Hit the brakes then into Redgate Corner. It's all getting quite lively for fourth place as well. Now it's getting dry. They're starting to gain some confidence, but that is Clive Hainsford, who could yet win the race because he's still the fastest driver on the track, or more or less. He's on a par almost exactly with the new race leader Baldwin, who just set a personal best lap on that lap with the overtake made for the lead. He did a 33.0, but Hainsford also did a 33.0. They were the only two drivers in the 133s, so that yellow Mazda, here it comes. It's made to a podium place by the end of this lap even, the rate at which it's catching Durant. He was 1.7 seconds quicker than the Subaru last time around, so despite the fact we were sort of tipping the Subaru to be one of the favourites in this race, and it is having a better race this time than it did earlier on this afternoon. But even in the wet, it's no match for that very rapid Mazda RX-8, which, had it not started from the pit lane, probably would have been miles ahead already by this point. So, from a neutral point of view, good decision that from Hainsford to start from the pits. All sort of staying with Baldwin, isn't he? He's within a second or so, but the Clio does seem to have the legs on him down the exhibition straight where the overtake was made a lap ago. Baldwin feeling the need to drive down the middle of the road there into the braking zone. I'm not entirely sure why, because I don't think Rich Hockley was going to try and come through from that far back. That's where Rick might be with the braking. Across the line they go. Traffic in front, that's Ewan McGuinness, in the Class F Peugeot. And the lead gap, is still only 0.8 of a second. Personal best lap for Hockley, but Hainsford does a 31.7. That's by far and away the fastest lap we've seen so far in this race. And he's into third place now, ahead of Robbie Durant. So Hainsford, can he win it? He's 5.7 seconds off the lead. There are 3 minutes and 25 seconds left on the clock. So if he gets his foot down and doesn't make any mistakes, I think he'll catch them. But will he then be able to overtake them? 4.9 seconds behind Hockley in seconds. This man is his next target. See there the gap. Also that bit of traffic to be dealt with, and Hainsford wants to go around the outside, but he's a bit tentative in doing so. Mazda, which is probably one of the most powerful cars out there, actually, and rear-wheel drive as well. So you can imagine it's a bit of a handful in the wet. But Clive Hainsford is showing no signs of struggling with it right now. He's continuing to close in, I'd say. Maybe not on this particular lap, but there's more traffic ahead for the leaders, so it's going to start to change around once again. Now, Class F, we have lost Vicom now, I'm afraid. He's dropped down to third, so there's been a moment somewhere for the erstwhile Class F leader. I noticed that because I think that's the Phil that they're about to put a lap on next. So the Class F cars are amongst the next to go a lap down, and now leading the class is the number 28 Peugeot of Daniel Perry, who could only manage third in this morning's race. So changes up and down the order then. Class F once again proving to be one of the most unpredictable classes out there. What about the gaps at the front of the field? Well, Baldwin to Hockley goes up to 2.1 seconds with a personal best lap time for Baldwin, a 1:32.7. It wasn't a personal best for Hainsford, but he was only a 10th off his previous best and was still a full second quicker than the leader. So at this rate, he'll be with Hockley by the end of the lap and might just leave himself with a lap to catch and try and pass Baldwin, but that won't be easy. And a lot of it will depend upon how quickly he gets past Richard Hockley when he gets there. So the extra speed that Hainsford's carrying right now will make it difficult, I think, for Hockley to fend him off. And then heads through the old hairpin, nose to tail now for second though. Hainsford's wasted no time in bringing down that was a 2.5 second gap at the start of the lap. Mazda MX-5's at play now, the Mark III 22 car of Aaron Bunning side by side with the 72 example. I don't think this one's in the same class, so that's Sean Kite. No, it does. They're both in GT150, so this is the fight for the lead in GT150 at the moment. 12th place overall, and that was a change, I believe, with Kite getting ahead of Bunning. So, well, no, he was already ahead. Bunning was trying to get the lead back, but Bunning was in the lead a few laps ago. He now goes back up the inside again into Redgate corner, and can he make that one work? It's going to be close on the exit though, because Kite will have the grippier line. Bunning sideways, really sideways out of Redgate, but still managed to find some purchase and pulls forwards. And is he going to be able to complete the manoeuvre down the Craner curves? I think he will. He's running out of road though. That curve is like ice. Stay away from that. And he does go through, but then Kite immediately tries to get back on the inside from the old hairpin. That's not where the grip is though, so he sensibly aborts that attempt. The leaders meanwhile have gone through on top will be the final lap, and we've had the change for second now. Hainsford has got himself ahead of Hockley. In doing so, he was still 1.3 seconds quicker than the leader, but he's 3.4 behind him, but not anymore because there's traffic for David Baldwin. That's the Hyundai Coupe of Matt Mitter, and there's an MX-5 in there as well. Oh, and Baldwin doesn't want to hang around here because you can see Clive Hainsford appearing. Clive Hainsford, I remind you, started from the pit lane and is now, what's that, less than a second behind David Baldwin, the race leader, through the right-hander of McLean's, and over goes one of the Peugeots. That's the 88 car that has rolled of Craig Walker, and that's down at the old hairpin. I think I can see him moving around inside the car. It often looks a bit more spectacular than it actually is from within the car. It's very easy to dig in and go rolling through that gravel trap. So Walker, he's lost the rear windscreen, he's got a bit of damage there to the front of the car, but generally speaking I think should be okay. Yellow flags out at the old hairpin. The leaders though had already gone through that part of the circuit. In fact, they're coming down into the final sequence of corners now, I think. And is it going to be Baldwin or Hainsford? It's going to be Baldwin because Hainsford has gone missing. Where has Clive Hainsford gone? He's gone off somewhere. He must have done it at the final corner. So Baldwin comes through, and I think we'll see the checkered flag, will he not? Because the timing screen's been telling me the checkered flag came out. Oh, there's Hainsford. Hainsford's off of the chicane. He's got it all wrong. Must have tried to get the lead. We'll never know, I suppose, but he must have tried to get the lead away. And, well, the Donington Park circuit has looked prettier, I'm not going to lie. There's grass and mud all over the place down the Craner curves. The red flag's out anyway, but I think the race had finished regardless. So, a suitably bizarre way to end the day, that was, and a shame that it ended that way. I'd love to know what happened between Hockley and... between Baldwin and Hainsford. That's good news, though. Out of the car is Craig Walker, so he's A-OK after that spectacular off down at the old hairpin. A bit shaken, I'm sure. That's Clive Hainsford, who's assessing the damage. The car didn't seem too badly damaged. I think he's just been on the grass down the right-hand side of the road coming into the chicane and hasn't been able to stop. And we saw that earlier on in the dry conditions, that was an issue. In the wet, that grass is lethal. So anyway, Richard Hockley doesn't win the race, so David Baldwin wins the race. Richard Hockley re-inherits second place, and Robbie Durant ends up on the podium after all. Jonathan Palmer will be sending Clive Hainsford an invoice for some new turf on the inside of the chicane. Drivers have been nibbling away at that grass all weekend by corner cutting as much as they can get away with, but that has done more damage to the grass, actually, I think, than that Mazda, which has, with the exception of a bit of damage to the front splitter, come away from it pretty much scot-free. Well, there you go then. I told you it'd be worth sticking around to the end of the day. That was a fascinating race, and Clive Hainsford very nearly came from the back of the grid to win it, but in the end, he binned it on the final corner and has ended up without a trophy to show. Now, we didn't get to speak to the drivers after the first race. We may be able to redress that situation now, I don't know, but if we can, then we'll hopefully be able to piece together exactly what happened. We're going to try and grab the drivers, but they track attack cars tend to head straight back to the paddock rather than through the scrutineering bay. So if we can get Bryn to go and jump around in front of them in the pit lane wearing something bright, they might notice him and pull over for a chat. But Baldwin with the win then, Hockley second, Durant third, fourth place for Anderson, fifth place Brabin, and then we wait for the rest. Well, the rest of them haven't been confirmed yet because the race technically ended under red flag conditions because not everyone had got to the end yet. And the red flag flew. This is part of the reason why we had a red flag, because the number 88 car of Craig Walker had inverted itself and then thankfully landed back on its wheels. Ah, that's a good sign. One driver stopped to talk to Bryn, so he's not completely friendless down in the pit lane. I don't think Richard Hockley got the message though. But David Baldwin, regardless, should be the winner. And he's the one we want to talk to, really, not only because he was the winner, but because he will have had a grandstand view of whatever happened to Clive Hainsford at the final corner. And Baldwin, after having a huge slide in the first race as well, which I wouldn't mind getting his view of, down the Crater curves. He knows exactly how treacherous that part of the circuit can be. But he has come away victorious from the second race, and the helmet's off. Thumbs up to Robbie Durant as he drives by. And I think we can now head down to Bryn for the final time with our final winner of the weekend.
Well, there you go, race win. It looked like at the very, very end you might have a bit of competition on your hands.
Yeah, it was really close. He just come right up really quick, and yeah, I thought he was going to come past, but he left it so late on the brakes. Struggled to avoid him, but just managed in the end.
Is that what it was from your point of view? Just too late on the brakes, and then he...
on the outside, and it was a game of who was going to brake later, and I knew as the latest I could brake, and he did the same, but he just sort of lost the back end on the rubber and spun round. It was close, yeah. And
of course no grip as well, because look out here, it's really, really slimy.
It was so slippy out there. It was just like qualifying this morning. You just had to get real careful and bide your time, really.
Yeah. How was that race for you then, if you could give us a rundown overall?
It was good. Good start. It was just sort of taking the wet lines rather than the dry lines, let other people fall off and not push too hard. Take it steady, bide your time, don't do anything silly, keep it on the track. So yeah.
It's a very good way to end the weekend, a very good way to end your season as well when it comes to the championship.
Yeah, I was pleased, brought the car home in one piece, decent result. That's all I can ask for really. I'm happy with that, it's first win, so yeah, really pleased.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
There you go, well done David Baldwin. You can probably take the car off now, you can go and get dry now. There you go. There are race winner from the final race of the day, final race of the season here for us actually at Donington Park. We're going to love you and leave you. We'll hopefully see you back here next year. I was going to say next week, but it's not next week, it's next year. We'll definitely see you back next year at Donington Park, and thank you so much for tuning in.